years ago, a soft-spoken young man was hired as the head basketball coach at Zanesville High School. Simply put, his job was to make the basketball team one of respectability. A little did they know that would be the least of his accomplishments. Coach Scott Aaronhall never veered from his goal. In 5 years, we'll be in St. John Arena. Summer conditioning and implementing a consistent program throughout the school system has provided the basic skills the athletes need to compete. Coach Aaronhall.
When we first started here, we really didn't have an off-season program established, and it's one of the things I really believe in, because I think if you're at the college level, you know, what you do is you go out and you recruit the players that would fit your system. And the high school level, you don't have that luxury, so you have to develop players to try to fit into a system. And then one of the most difficult sometimes, the thing to do is try to find a system that best fits your players. And so beyond that, one of the things that we really believe in is a weightlifting and running program. And I think that really takes 2 to 3 years to establish, because number one, you got to find, you know, what facilities you can use for the weightlifting and develop new things. And then the other thing you have to do is find an appropriate time that you can get out and run and do that type of conditioning. So it's really a 2 to 3 year process, and it's something I thought we came into last year of being very well conditioned and having good overall physical strength.
Coming off an 18-6 campaign in 1993-94 and a regional semifinal loss to Westerville North, the Blue Devils were poised for the upcoming season.
You know, the positive from it was we had a good season the year before, so, you know, winning builds winning. And so I think our kids really believed that coming into this year they could win, and that they could compete at the state level. And last year I thought we could have competed at the state level, but after we had lost that regional game, I think our kids realized then at that point, man, we were very close to, you know, playing in the state tournament. And, you know, up to that point, I don't think they realized that they could play at that level.
Led by 4 composed, hard-working seniors, this Blue Devil team had a plan to reach the goals they set. Slade Galloway, John Hodges, Noah Joseph, and Josh Olinger were prepared for the leadership roles that Coach Aaronhall requested them to take. Each senior understood their responsibilities and were perfect leaders on and off the court.
A great responsibility to be a senior, and especially to be a senior in this program, because I always tell the kids when they start out at the junior high level, look around them, because probably only 3 or 4 of them per class is going to be left by the time they're seniors. And we make no bones about it. You know, a lot of people say that, well, you know, you probably work the kids too hard, those types of things. But I know that, you know, we work very hard because we believe in what we're doing, and we know it works and it'll win championships. And the bottom line is, even if you don't win championships, you're creating very good people who I'm, you know, willing to put my name on as far as when they go out in the community and get a job or go on. So, you know, being a senior in this program, it's always funny to watch the kids step in that position, because they said some of them, you know, it's like a kind of a wake-up call. Boy, I didn't know there was that much responsibility to being a senior as far as the leadership aspect of it. And, you know, a lot of people, they get caught up in having, you know, oh, you need seniors to win. You don't need seniors to win. What you do need, though, are good seniors who give you good leadership. And sometimes some of the best seniors we have, they don't even play minutes for us. But what they do every day in practice, they work very hard, and they show good leadership off the floor. So, you know, it doesn't have to be in a playing role, but it has to be something that they're willing to be disciplined and you know, set a good example for our younger players.
The first task at hand was to defend the Pickerington Classic Championship. It'll also be remembered as the first varsity start for sophomore Seth Martin. Seth grabbed 16 boards and 19 points, providing the Blue Devil faithful a taste of what was to come. Storming out to a 16-2 lead against Hilliard, the Devils controlled the game from start to finish, winning 61-42. The next night against Pickerington, point guard Edwin Young scored a career-high 28 points with 6 assists as Zanesville won 73-63. Noah Joseph explains.
That was a real good start for us, because we won that last year, and we knew we had a good chance winning it this year, and we pretty much dominated both of those games, so it was fun. It was a fun time playing if you play like we did.
Coach Aaronhall believes that champions need to be able to play several tempos and styles to be successful. Coming home for the Columbus-Briggs game was a greatly anticipated event, although the game itself was a surprise. Briggs decided to take the air out of the ball and play a slowdown game. Zanesville maintained a balanced attack and controlled the game with a final score of 49-21. During the cold winter month of December, Zanesville was heating up the scoreboard, outscoring opponents by an average of 21 points per game. At different times throughout the season, different people would step up. Against Coshocton, it was the Gary Myers show. With a top 5 state ranking in the beginning of league play, the Blue Devils would face their first real test of the season. Josh Oldinger explains.
Oh, well, we want to be ranked in the top 10 because of how well we finished out, and we never did. But it's just, I mean, you look at all those rankings and you see all those powerhouse teams are always there, like Canton McKinley and Massillon Jackson. I mean, Cleveland Heights, those teams are always there. And just to be up there ranked with them is just unbelievable.
On Friday, January 13th, everything was put on the table. The home winning streak was pushed to the max by Lancaster, surprising them with a triangle and 2. The Gales had several chances, but fell short 50-48. Slade Galloway.
Yeah, we knew they'd be strong. They had some strong inside games. And before that, we won about every game underneath because we had strong post players in Seth Martin and David Houston. So we knew coming in that our guards would have to produce. And
well, that was definitely our wake-up call, and we had that long streak going at home, and at that point it was probably up to like 11 or 12 or something like that at home, and we just felt invincible at home. Then Coach Greathouse's team comes in and he prepares them real well, and they were just ready to play, and we somehow survived the scare.
Game 11 turned out to be a very crucial game in the season. Zanesville was playing host to Newark and jumped out to a 10-4 lead. Senior Josh Oldinger went down odd on his left knee. That changed the game plan for the rest of the season, but not the team unified goal of these young men. Coach Aaron Halt.
It was kind of like, almost like the book, The Tale of Two Cities, because it was a great game for us as far as being able to beat Newark, because they've had a great tradition of basketball, and they've also had a great tradition of beating Zanesville in basketball. So, it was a real important game for us emotionally to go and go out there and play well. But then, on the other hand, it was a downer because of the injury to Josh, and, it was kind of a wake-up call for me, because one of the things that a lot of people that, they look at basketball and they say this team should do very well, but they don't consider all those little intangible factors. And one of them is you definitely have to stay injury-free. And sometimes you get 2 or 3 kids with little nagging injuries that people really don't know about, not once your team kind of goes on a skid. And for us losing Josh at that point, I still thought we could do very well in our conference, and I thought we were capable of winning it. But for us to advance beyond the district level, really in the tournament, I thought it'd be very difficult for us to win, especially against the teams that we would see in the regional with only 2 post people.
You're shooting, right?
was feeling pretty good about myself because I remember that Lancaster game before that, just the night before, or it wasn't a night, but the game before that, I had 15 points or something, which was like my season high. So I was feeling pretty good about myself, and offensively I was starting to come on. And even at the beginning of the North game, I had two quick baskets, and then I went up for my third basket and just landed wrong. Somehow I got a little bumped in midair, and when I came down, my leg was just going one way and my body the other, and it hurt. It really hurt.
It's hard because you want to get more minutes, but that's not the way you want to get more minutes, having one of your best friends get hurt so you can play. But I just wanted to go out there and play as well as I could and prove to everyone, including myself, that I could get the job done. Well, I knew I didn't have to score a whole bunch of points, but I had to take care of the ball and play good defense, which I knew I was capable of doing.
Game 17 was at arch-rival Newark High School. Zanesville had not won there since 1969 and not swept a series since 1958. It was no contest after Slay Galloway hit a pair of threes to start the game. John Hodges.
I felt really confident. Everybody else, I think, they looked really confident. We were all very prepared for this game. Coach spent all week and a lot of time preparing for this game. And we came out and we just executed, took smart shots. Slade was just hitting the open shots that he could. Edwin just worked everybody to make sure they got the good shots. And
I wanted to come out and shoot well because I'd been slow up to that point. I didn't really shoot the ball in the previous games, and I wanted to come out and prove to everybody I can shoot like I did last year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed my pleasure to welcome you to Zanesville High School tonight. And in our presentation honoring the 1955 team, cheerleaders players from Zanesville. 40 years ago, they were playing basketball in the old gym here, where some of you are sitting. They started off the year 3-3. Coach Stoller told me the reason for that was they had a player ineligible, and as soon as he came back, they won 19 in a row.
The 17th and 18th of February were the final home games for the four seniors. The first goal was to win the BCC title outright.
We hadn't won it in its whole existence until last season. We were co-champions with Lancaster. And so after being a co-champ, you just want to kind of win it outright, especially in its last year of existence. You're like, well, let's go out and win this. And so we were making it a main focus to go out and win the BCC. And
February the 18th will go down as a very emotional game. It was the last game for the four seniors and marked the return of Josh Oldinger.
I want to make it back for senior night, and I think Coach, he even told me that he didn't even think I was going to make it back, and I mean, it was just something I just wanted to play. I was telling my parents that I don't care if I just go out there and just stand on the floor for 2 seconds just to be out on the floor. I want to play senior night. I'll never forget. I run on the court and crowd gives a standing ovation. That's just, that's a feeling that no one could. You just can't explain that feeling. And just hitting your first shot and the crowd going crazy again. It's just chills up my spine right now talking about it.
That was a perfect ending for a perfect season, 20-0. Coach Ehrenholt discusses the special feeling he has for home games and the season finale.
Made it into a spectacular place to play, and the kids really believe that when they go in there that they're going to play very hard and that they're going to win, and they take pride in the fact that nobody who comes into our gym is going to play harder than what we do. So it's really neat to see how that has changed since my first year here into now. It's a great place to play, and our crowd has been unbelievable in playing those games. But when you get down to playing home and then trying to keep that streak going, and then looking at the situation we had with Josh coming back, all those things now, even when I think about it, kind of brings goosebumps, because you're so excited about, number one, having an opportunity to go undefeated at home, and then with the situation at Lancaster having the opportunity to be undefeated for the season, and then to have one of your top players returning, who I knew if things would work out very well for us, that was going to be the last thing we needed to do very well in the tournament. It was just a great night, and as I've said many times, to have Josh come in and play the way he did, he deserved that. And sometimes you say that kids don't deserve things because maybe they don't work hard, or maybe they didn't do the things you asked, but Josh has done everything we've asked. He's worked very hard, and for him to finish up on that night the way he did was unbelievable, and I know that it was just a great night for his family.
At this point, it was only one more step to the big goal, and they were preparing for the job at hand, and that would be winning the sectional championship.
We tried to stay a little bit more composed. We were confident, but we weren't as confident as other big games during the rest of the year. We came out and we had Josh lead us out, and I felt that we had trouble pulling away, and they kept coming back, little spurts and everything, and I thought we were going to be battling this one out to the final buzzer, but we finally pulled away at the very end. And
well, Coach tells us that you can't win a game on emotions, and they came out just fired up, and we knew once they come down from this, we can beat them. So that after the first quarter, we picked them apart.
We pretty much threw the regular season out the door at that point. We said, let's just don't worry about everybody talking about that, and let's just practice hard and get focused for the tournament, because that's when the real players come out. We knew they'd come out and play on emotion, and we just knew we just had to go out and play fundamentally and wear them down, because you can only play on emotion so far.
They knew East Liverpool would supply a challenge. However, Edwin Young took charge of the contest. Coach Ehrenholt.
The thing that we tried to do with our kids is we try to approach every game with what do we have to do to win, and not get caught up in all the emotion as far as, what is their record, what does this game mean to us, as far as if we win it, we get shot at the district title and those kind of things. So, I thought we approached the game kind of very methodically, and then what we had saw, some of their comments in the newspaper, they were playing it up to be the biggest basketball game in the state, which, I knew in my own mind it was, but yet I didn't want to sell that to my kids like it was a must-win situation, because, when you start looking at the whole picture sometimes, instead of the breakdown things that you have to do to win, then it's very easy to get caught up in the emotion of a game, and it's very easy to get out of sync of what you need to do. So, I thought our kids approached the game very well. I thought, they approached the game as being too big of a game, almost like a state championship situation. And I think as the game went on, I thought our kids played very well possession to possession. And I thought their kids kind of panicked and maybe took some shots that they shouldn't have, tried to get back into the game when we had a lead by doing things that they didn't do the whole season. So, I guess the real key to that basketball game is that I thought our mental approach to it was much better than the way their kids were mentally prepared.
To them, yeah, we'll be emotional. We'll celebrate when we score and we do things together, pick each other up and all that kind of stuff. But don't get caught up in all the emotion of the game, the facility, and people that are out there. We've played great competition. We've been in good facilities before. They have not. And so that's an advantage to us. And we know that as the game goes, we're just going to keep wearing on them and wearing on them and wearing on until we wear them out. And we can wear this team out big. Don't go out there and let them have any confidence on doing little things. Okay? And again, here, we will cut down the nets after this one. So start getting that mental image of how good that you would feel, and you can actually get goosebumps walking up that net and cutting the nets down. There are people going crazy up there. Second straight district championship. And again, it's one of those things is, I told you at the beginning of the year, as far as, winning the conference, that was a big goal for me. Us, winning the sectional district, all those things. But one of the big things, you may remember, you may not, but was to get the most wins in the school history. It's 24. This would be 22, and we'd just be 2 steps away from reaching it.
If there was a time for Zanesville to be caught off guard, it would be against Marietta at the districts as the players learned a valuable lesson.
I had real high expectations that game. We're like, okay, we can go in here. We were really expected to win and kind of blow them out, but they were a lot like a Cambridge team, and they just kind of peck at you a little bit, and then they just somehow wear you out. And we just didn't. We kind of played poorly that game, and they played real well, and it was a surprise that it was. I mean, I'm going to admit it was a surprise it was that close, and they just played well.
They played an excellent basketball game, and they shot the ball exceptionally well, and that was the one big key I told our kids coming in. If they shoot the ball well, they can compete with us, and they did.
As Zanesville prepares for their second straight regional appearance, the people in the Canton area aren't aware of what this team had to offer or the show they were about to witness.
Almost one that when we practiced at the Civic Center, you could just feel the emotion in our kids, and you could just tell that they believed that they could win.
Going into the Canton regional, and there were 4 teams there, and one of the reporters, I guess, told Coach Ehrenholt that if they were to seed those 4 teams, that Zanesville would have been the 4th seed. I mean, we were undefeated at that point, ranked 3rd in the state, highest ranked of those 4 teams, and we still didn't have any respect. And that was just something, I mean, I think that kind of put a little spark and started a flame in the team. And I think that, I mean, if you're not respected, you just want to gain that respect.
First up was Massillon Jackson. With their return trip to St. John Arena and Ohio State signee Jamie Bosley, Jackson came out strong. Bosley hit 10 of his team's first 12 points. Zanesville kept their composure and chipped away. At halftime, they were down 23-19. The halftime talk paid off as the Devils came out firing and tightened their defense. Bosley scored only 8 points in the second half after hitting 18 before intermission. Zanesville fans remember Jamie more for the shot he missed than the 26 points he made. Coach Ehrenholt.
Our kids were really up for the challenge, and Edwin Young is an excellent defender for us, and you know, it was a very competitive situation for him because, you know, anytime that we've played somebody very good like that, then he wants to guard that person. And Seth Martin has that same type of mentality, but Bosley is one that plays on the perimeter and in the post, so we thought if we did have to go man, which we did late in that game, we would put Edwin on him, and Edwin did do an excellent job on Bosley. But, you know, we understand that he's a great player, and one of our philosophies is I don't think that you can get too caught up into trying to do a bunch of abnormal things to take a great player out of the game. And then